Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Join Up Dots. Now, today's episode is all about me. It's all about me, but it's also about you guys as well, okay? And it might sound a little strange at first, because what I want to do, I want to talk about something that most people are chasing, and almost nobody actually questions if there's an actual bad thing attached to this, the downside of being financially free. And when you hear the words financially free, it sounds like the dream, doesn't it? Because, you know, I don't have to work anymore. I can just do what I want. And I know most of you out there would say, yeah, don't worry about that. I'll take that off you. I've had that problem. Don't worry about that, David. And honestly, I used to think exactly the same. And for years, in the early days, I had this picture in my head, and the bills were just being paid automatically. Money was coming in whenever I worked or not. No alarm clock needed, no pressure, no scrambling, no worrying about what the next month would look like. And that was the goal. And that was the goal I was aiming for. That was the finish line. And when you're building something and when you're sort of really grafting, it's that vision of what you want that keeps you going. And it just seems exciting. I mean, it seems terrible but it pulls you forward. And you tell yourself that once I get there, everything will feel different. Everything's going to be amazing. And it's not the case. Now, in some ways, it is amazing because you know, you've worked towards something and you've achieved it. And the fact that I don't have to work at all anymore and my bills are paid is brilliant, and it really is. But what actually happens as well, and this is what no one really talks about, is when the pressure disappears, you realise that you need a certain amount of structure. You need a certain amount of pressure to keep yourself in shape and keep yourself going. And for most of our adult lives, pressure sort of drives us. You need to get a job. You need to get your qualifications. You need to earn. You need to grow. And you need to make it work. And there's a reason to get up every morning. There's a bus to catch, there's a train to catch, there's a number to hit at work, there's a sales target, there's just things staring you in the face that you've got to achieve. And pressure gives the shape to your day. Then one day, if you're lucky and you're disciplined and you're persistent enough, you get past that and the numbers start handling themselves. And as I say, the bills are covered and the income rolls in, and you wake up and you realise that you don't actually have to do anything today. And that's how my life has been like for the last 2 years, really. And I'm so grateful. I've worked towards it, but I'm so grateful because I feel like I've escaped. And if somebody says to me, you know, when you're free, I go, I'll make sure I'm free whenever you want to be. You know, I just look at it and just do whatever I want. But something subtle creeps in, and I didn't realise this, but you realise a lot of your structure was built around necessity. And when necessity goes, structure can quietly go with it. And you think you wanted endless weekends and, you know, long holidays and stuff, but Saturdays and weekends are only special because they sit next to the Mondays and the Fridays. And so when every day's optional, everything stops feeling special, I suppose, and the urgency fades, and without even noticing it, you start to drift. Not dramatically, because I'm still doing join up dots, I'm still doing this, I'm still doing that, but I can kind of do it when I want. And so I can't be bothered today. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Or you can imagine, yeah? You just kind of think, oh, I'll watch a bit of TV this afternoon. And little by little, I have drifted into that. And this is the bit that's caught me off guard, because I think looking back on it, I started to feel slightly flat. Not unhappy, exactly, and not stressed, just kind of lost, I think. Because I was building something and then I wasn't. I was growing something and then I wasn't, because it was doing it itself. I was pushing for something and then I wasn't. And there's a story of my history that I was constantly in motion. And now I'm not. And at December last year, I suddenly realised that I was depressed, clinically depressed, and not the kind of depression that I would have said to people. I've never been depressed before. I would have always said to people, oh, what have you got to be depressed about? Just sort of pull yourself together, it'd be better tomorrow. But this was like, this was, it felt like my brain was just flooded with negativity. It just felt like it was a sponge in my head. And I literally, not literally, I got to points where I thought to myself, I could just end it. I felt so down that I couldn't find a way out. And luckily, I realised that I was in problem. And so I started to sort of really look after myself more and start to try to get back on the bicycle and start to ride and start to clear that feeling of, what's the point? There's no reason. And I said to people, I feel depressed, and they all said exactly the same. Oh, you shouldn't be depressed. You've got everything going for you. But it wasn't. It was clinical. It was brain dead. I just felt like there wasn't anything worth living for anymore, which is stupid, really, because I've got a wonderful family. I've got grandkids. I've got everything going for me. And this was, I think, looking back on it, low-level depression that crept up to full depression. And it was where, as I say, I just lost sight of myself. I lost motivation. I've lost desire to keep going. And that is what I want to talk about. That's the bit that people don't say. It's great being able to do anything when you want to, but you do need to have something driving you. You have to have a structure. You have to have an understanding that financial freedom isn't the finish line, it's the platform. It's the platform that you work towards as stage one to start building something elsewhere to drive you forward. It takes survival off the table so you can choose your next mountain. And that's where the real responsibility kicks in. Because when you can't blame lack of time or lack of money anymore, it's all on you. You can't say, I'd love to, but now it's simply, do I want to? And that's confronting. And so certain points of me have looked at join up dots and the coaching and thought, I don't need to do this anymore. Why am I even doing this? Why don't I just stop? And some of my other businesses, I thought to myself, well, it's just passive income. I could just literally just walk away from it. That's not the point. You have failed if you get to that point. What you've got to do is work consistently to get the financial freedom to then build the real thing. Okay, they say that you see the real mountain once you've climbed the first one, and that's true. And so the next phase is about building significance. It's about contribution. It's about impact. It's about growth for its own sake. I have seen now that the last 15 years was just the starting point to where I am now, okay, which I could never see before. So I want you to realise that if you want to have financial freedom, great, go for it. We'll help you because we've done it ourselves here. Okay, I know how to do it. I know the hustle. I know the grind. I know when to walk away from it. But what you need to do is realize that that's your starting freedom. Being financially free is not freedom from work. It's freedom to choose meaningful work. And when you find that, the energy comes back and the edge returns and the climb begins again, just on a different mountain. And if there's one thing I've learned looking back and joining up my own dots, it's this. The joy was never in arriving. It's always in growing. And financial freedom just gives you the chance to grow on your own terms. And that's where the real magic sits. Okay? So just think about it. Go for financial freedom, work towards it, means that you haven't got a boss, you can do anything you want, but then take a little bit of breathing space and realise that you're at the first stage, you're at base camp 1, and then it's your responsibility to get back into the seat and start working towards the second stage, okay? And the second stage will be whatever you want it to be, because that's when the issues of financial restraints and time restraints aren't there anymore. That's when you really start giving back to the world, okay? So, yeah, heavy depression. Never had it before, literally got suicidal, couldn't understand why, but now I realise it was because I'd gone flabby, I'd gone flat, and that's not what life is about. Life is about keep on moving forward and giving more back to the world. Okay. Any questions on that, drop us a line at joinupdots@gmail.com. We'd love to know more. But until next time, my friends, my sexy friends, keep joining up those dots. Please subscribe and review the podcast because it really helps. And until next time, we'll see you again. Look after yourselves. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
That's the end of Join Up Dots. You've heard the conversation. Now it's time for you to start taking massive action. Create your future, create your life. It's the only life you've got. And we'll be back again real soon. Join up dots, join up dots, join up dots, join up dots.